Your money might be in more danger than you think. And right now, major banking rule changes are happening quietly behind the scenes. Almost every wealthy person I talk to is genuinely worried about what these changes mean for their finances. And I'm going to walk you through 11 specific rule changes that are reshaping the financial world as we know it. But before we dive in, let me be crystal clear. This isn't about spreading conspiracy theories or causing panic. This is about understanding how modern banking actually works and why smart, wealthy people are taking action right now. So let's get straight into this. First major change. You've probably heard that if a bank fails, the government swoops in and saves it, right? That was the model for about 100 years. But then 2008 happened. Governments spent trillions bailing out banks, and it basically bankrupted taxpayers. So after that crisis, regulators said never again. They came up with something called a bail-in instead of a bailout. Here's what changed. When a bank gets into serious trouble, instead of the government saving it, regulators can now use the money inside the bank to stabilize it. And it hits everyone in order. First, shareholders lose everything, then bondholders. And then, here's where it gets scary. Large depositors like you can also lose money. Your deposit insurance only covers $250,000 in the US, 100,000 pounds in the EU, 85,000 in the UK, and 100,000 Canadian in Canada. Everything above that is technically unsecured credit to the bank, which means in a banking crisis, those deposits can legally be used to absorb losses. This isn't theory. These laws already exist in most major countries, and more countries keep strengthening them. Now let's talk about the second change, and this one surprises people because it has nothing to do with bank failures. It's about how you use your account. If your bank account sits inactive long enough, the government can legally take it. We call these dormant accounts. And once your account becomes dormant, something called unclaimed assets laws kicks in. Your money can be transferred to the state after just 3 to 5 years, depending on where you live. Now here's the real problem. The periods are getting shorter. Australia just cut their dormancy period from 7 years down to 3 years. The UK expanded their dormant asset scheme to include investments and insurance balances too. And the EU is openly discussing making all dormancy periods the same across member states, which means they'd be using the shortest timeline. This is why our wealthiest clients are moving money to countries that actually protect asset ownership. Places like Switzerland, where banks are legally required to search for you for 51 years before transferring money to the government. Or Liechtenstein, where banks have to keep your money indefinitely. Monaco has a 30-year window. Compare that to the US, which is 3 to 5 years depending on your state. And most developed countries sit between 5 and 10 years. Change number 3. You've probably heard about civil asset forfeiture in relation to crime, but here's the reality. In most developed countries, authorities can seize your assets without any criminal conviction at all. In the United States, this happens all the time. In the UK, they can issue something called an unexplained wealth order. Australia and Canada have similar programs. These laws started as tools to fight organized crime and money laundering. But the threshold for freezing your assets can happen long before any case is even resolved, and your money just stays frozen. Now, I'm going to tell you something important. The whole point of this isn't to scare you. It's to show you how these systems work so you can protect yourself. Once you understand the game, you can build a stronger banking strategy by moving assets to countries that actually protect you. And yes, even the best banking countries have the power to freeze assets, but they don't use it as aggressively as other countries, especially in frivolous situations. Change number 4 is probably the scariest because if it happens, your entire country will be affected. You won't be able to withdraw your money freely. International transfers will be blocked or heavily restricted. Foreign currency conversions will be impossible. You'll basically be locked into your country and your currency. I'm talking about capital controls. People think this only happens in poor countries. They're wrong. In 2013, during the Cyprus banking crisis, withdrawal limits were imposed for months. In Greece, ATM withdrawals were capped at 60 euros a day. In Iceland, capital controls lasted 9 years after the banking collapse. When this happens, your money technically exists in the bank, but actually getting to it becomes almost impossible. The way wealthy people protect themselves is simple. They move money to stable jurisdictions abroad before capital controls are ever imposed. Because once your money's out, it moves freely. It can be invested, used, and isn't trapped by your home country's rules. I see this constantly with clients from China, India, South Africa, and Argentina. And this is a very real concern for a lot of our clients. Change number 5 is about what you're actually allowed to do with your own money. Governments are introducing new rules that limit the types of assets you can hold. US investors have complicated tax rules on foreign mutual funds. The UK is capping how much stablecoin exposure individuals can have. Globally, regulators are scrutinizing crypto, foreign currency accounts, and even gold transactions. They justify this as financial stability and anti-money laundering, but honestly, they're controlling what you can do with your own cash. They're handcuffing your financial decisions based on government policy directions. Change number 6. This is huge, and most people don't even realize it's a threat. It's not even coming directly from lawmakers. It's about what central banks are doing with the money supply. When central banks expand the money supply faster than the economy grows, your purchasing power declines. That's currency debasement. Your savings lose real value. But that's not the scary part. At the same time they're expanding money, central banks are exploring CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And this is where things get genuinely concerning because CBDCs could enable programmable money, spending restrictions, age-based stimulus, or even negative interest rates. Unlike everything else we've discussed, CBDCs don't exist yet. But the possibility alone is making our wealthiest clients diversify their money overseas. Change number 7 is about tax authorities. Every developed country lets tax agencies freeze bank accounts for unpaid taxes. Through international agreements like FATCA and information sharing treaties, authorities can pursue assets across borders. Now, the clients I work with, they pay their taxes properly. They file everything correctly. They meet all their reporting requirements. But they're still concerned that aggressive tax agencies might freeze their overseas accounts during investigations even when they've done nothing wrong. This isn't about avoiding taxes. It's about making sure your assets aren't frozen unfairly. Countries comply with international tax treaties when legal orders are presented, but some countries protect you better than others. Some require full domestic court proceedings before enforcing foreign tax claims. Others require specific treaty provisions and documented evidence. The concern is how aggressive tax authorities are becoming at freezing accounts overseas. Change number 8 is something you've probably experienced without realizing it. Every bank monitors account activity for anti-money laundering compliance. In the US, we call these suspicious activity reports. Canada uses FinTrack. Australia has AUSTRAC. The UK and EU have similar systems. Here's the thing. These reports can be triggered even on transactions below formal reporting thresholds. So the idea that sending less than $10,000 won't trigger monitoring, that's false. What's changing is how fast this monitoring happens and who can access the information. Countries are moving to AI-driven behavioral monitoring. Banks are now sharing information with other banks, squeezing your privacy further. Accounts can be frozen while compliance investigates, and I've heard of people having frozen accounts for years, even when nothing illegal happened. This monitoring happens for all kinds of reasons. Large transfers, international wire transfers, withdrawing cash. Large amounts of anything basically triggers attention. So wealthy clients who need access to substantial amounts of money open accounts in countries comfortable with wealth, in banks that send large transfers regularly. Change number 9. Actually, I skipped one, so we're at change number 10. Banks are closing accounts not because clients did anything wrong, but because banks think clients are risky. It's called de-risking. It happens to clients with profiles outside the norm. Clients sending large international transfers, clients in cryptocurrency, politically exposed persons, clients connected to certain countries. Instead of investigating, banks just close the account. Our clients choose banks that align with their actual profile and activities first, rather than trying to fit into a bank's cookie-cutter image of a perfect customer. Change number 11 is the biggest one affecting people everywhere in developed countries. Aggressive restrictions on physical cash are being rolled out across France, Spain, Greece, and the Netherlands. This is centered in Europe, but some countries are making cash almost impossible to use through bank policies and merchant service providers. The good news is some countries are pushing back, giving you freedom over how you use your money. These are the traditional banking hubs, the places that respect asset ownership, the places that don't punish you for being wealthy. And if you want to know how to open an account in one of the best banking hubs on the planet and protect yourself from all these changes, watch this video right here and I'll show you exactly how to do it.